I'm Nick Seco from Home Right Windows and Doors, and we're located in Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. So we do vinyl replacement windows, we do steel and fiberglass entry doors, we do aluminum storm doors, and we do sliding patio doors, all made by Provia. The windows are a vinyl replacement window, and it could be anything from double hungs to casements to bay and bow windows and everything in between. So when somebody calls in the office and needs an estimate, they get Roxanne on the phone typically, and she would schedule an appointment for me to come out and take some measurements, provide some literature, go through what options we have, and then I would follow up within about 24 to 48 hours with an estimate with all the details of the products as well as the installed price. I find that we're typically much more affordable than the companies that you see advertising on TV or in a lot of other places. If they're spending a lot of advertising dollars, obviously they're passing those costs on to their consumers. You could go to our website at homerightwaynesboro.com, or you could call us at 717-749-4874.
Local and live, covering Franklin and Washington counties, it's Let's Talk Tristate.
Well, Dan Dedona here again, and this is bringing you localnews1.org weekly report from Hagerstown to Chambersburg, Smithsburg, Fairfield, Waynesboro, and all the communities that make up our local area. I'm going to start today with 5 things to do this weekend. That'll be starting today, the 11th of July. In Greencastle, they're having their 58th annual Greencastle Sidewalk Days. It's a very popular festival that's hosted by the Greencastle Chamber of Commerce. And what they're going to do is they're going to transform Baltimore and Carlisle streets in Greencastle into a bustling marketplace Friday and Saturday. They'll be open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Friday and 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday. You'll be able to browse local vendors, enjoy live entertainment, sample delicious food, and all the while supporting the heart of the community. So take advantage of that. Next item on the list, number 2. If you are a fan of big hair and even bigger hits, then the Capitol Theater has got a deal for you down there in Hagerstown, or in Chambersburg, I should say. Backlot Blast is what they're offering, featuring the Reagan years. This is a really good group. They play out at the Mont Alto Firemen's Carnival every summer as well. Outstanding. It's a 21 and over fundraiser. It promises a lively mix of live music, food trucks, craft brews, and more. And now it's all for a $20 admission. You're encouraged to bring your own chairs, but leave pets and outside snacks at home. You can contact the Capitol Theater or call 717-263-0202 for more information. Third on the list, if you've ever wondered what it was like to catch Janis Joplin at Woodstock, well, you got an opportunity this Sunday, July 13th, at the Hub City Vinyl over at 28 East Baltimore Street in Hagerstown. They have a powerhouse vocalist, Lisa Polizzi, who's going to be offering a Janis Joplin experience live. This should be good. If you ever, most people have probably heard her music. Maybe a lot of younger people haven't heard it, but she was fantastic. She had an amazing voice, and her life was cut short, but had some very memorable music. It's a tribute act that doesn't stop at Joplin, though. You can also get a full set of Woodstock-era music. A lot of great hits from that period. Doors are going to be opening at 6 p.m., and the show will start at 7. Tickets range from $22 to $25, and you should have a great time if you manage to attend. Number 4 on the list. In Chambersburg, they're going to have their 39th annual Chamber Fest, put on by the Greater Chambersburg Chamber of Commerce and a coalition of community partners. The festival celebrates the town's resilience and vibrant spirit, commemorates its rebirth after the Civil War, and showcasing the best that Chambersburg has to offer, including Restaurant Week. There'll be favorites like Scoopalooza, the Tim and Susan Cook Memorial Race, Old Market Day, and a reenactment of the 1864 burning of Chambersburg. So Should be a very interesting day. That's actually going to be running from July 12th to the 19th. So we have a lot of opportunities to go visit that. And finally, of the top 5 things to do this weekend, Washington County Ag Expo and Fair will be also running from July 12th through the 19th at the Washington County Agricultural Education Center in Boonesboro. It'll be a week packed with livestock shows, rodeo thrills, carnival rides, and live entertainment for all ages. Daily admission starts at $5. Children under 5 are admitted free. The organizers say the fair aims to celebrate local agriculture and community spirit. Now we're going to add, as usual, there's always more things going on over the weekend, and we only advertise 5 things in localnews1.org, but we're going to add one additional one, and that is Totem Pole, starting tonight, the 11th of July, 39 Steps, which was a play that was. There was a Hitchcock movie of that by that name. There are also a number of runs on both Broadway and over in London. This is a great show. It's also going to run from the 12th through the 21st of July. And it includes a blend of Hitchcock suspense and Monty Python silliness, which is an interesting combination. You really ought to go check it out. My wife and I are actually going tonight. Looking forward to it. You can get tickets through Totem Pole, either online or through their box office. Okay, that's the 5 things to do this weekend. In news for the past week, in Chambersburg, the hospital negotiations between WellSpan Hospital over there and SEIU, the employees are continuing. If you recall last week, the employees had already voted to authorize a strike, but had not actually gone ahead and started a strike. Well, this week, they're looking at actually, they had a vote yesterday. We still don't know exactly what the results of that were, but they were going to talk about actually engaging in a strike. Whatever they do, they can't do anything before the 22nd of July because there's a 10-day notice that's required for these kinds of strikes so that WellSpan and the employees can make provisions for all the people that are there at the hospital. The WellSpan is offering 9.25% pay increase over 3 years. SEIU wants better working conditions, and we'll see how that turns out. Hopefully, we'll find out very soon. In Pennsylvania, Senator Mastriano had a firefighters certification reform package, which was approved by the Pennsylvania legislature, and it takes effect immediately. It partially deals with a drop in volunteers, which back in the 70s, there were 300,000 volunteers in volunteer fire departments, and right now they're down to 38,000. So there's been a tremendous drop-off. What the senator's bill aims to do is to streamline the certification process so that it's easier over a period of time for volunteers to get all the certifications that they need to perform this important job for all of our local communities. In Montalto, on the 7th of July, they discussed a variety of things, right-of-way protections, which mainly had to do with whether or not the municipality or whether local people would trim up the bushes that were blocking stop signs and road signs in the local area. They're also talking about water restrictions, which about a year ago, they actually activated water restrictions in December of the year because 2 of their 3 sources of water were down and they were relying on just 1. So they still have problems with water. What they're looking at is they need to talk to DCNR, the Department of and Natural Resources, for a drilling permit. Apparently it's more complicated than you would imagine to get a drilling permit for additional water. They also talked about a fall jubilee, the first annual fall jubilee, which they want to have in September. And in addition, they talked about a topic that we've been covering for quite some time now, Penn State Montalto's closure. Apparently, Mrs. Vieira went out and provided information, and just as a brief update, the alumni group that was gathering signatures is now at 3,976 signatures. A lot of people are still upset about how that happened. In Chambersburg, Money Matters is a collaboration between the United Way and First Ed Credit Union. It's the 16 July event has the purpose of helping local people in the community to get a better grip on their financial security. Frankly, it's a very important topic. I was a financial advisor for a number of years. One of the statistics that the IRS always published was that about 85% of everybody in the United States, when they turn 65, would be 100% dependent upon some combination of family, friends, Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. Not a good position to be in, and a bad position to be showing after 65 years worth of effort. So there's a lot of very little things that can be done. Our old friend Doug Harmon from over at First Ed is going to be running that. Hopefully they'll do more of those in the future, because there are in fact a lot of adults that really don't have a surefire notion of how to handle their own money. In Washington Township, the Monterey Pass properties have acquired, the township working with the Friends of Monterey Pass have acquired $334,000 in grants. Among other things, what they're going to do is they're going to purchase 2 additional properties that were very, very instrumental in the Battle of Monterey Pass when Lee's forces were retreating from Gettysburg back on July 4th, 1863. One of those is a toll house where 5 different roads converged, and was one of the reasons between the pass and that road. It was one of the reasons why a substantial portion of Lee's forces were directed in that over toward Monterey Pass. And there's also roughly 3 acres of property right across the road from the toll house where the worst part of the battle took place back in 1863. So they want both of those properties, and they're right on the verge of getting them. There was also a closure to the Nibert Solar Farm activity. It's going to be that's a farm that borders the solar panel project that Waynesboro, the borough, has been contemplating for some time, and it also runs right along Route 316. In Cascade, Maryland, a very different kind of a problem. Apparently, for several years now, Dollar General has wanted to put in a store in Cascade. Residents really don't want to see that kind of development in their area. They kind of like being more rural, more relaxed. They've already got some grocery stores, and they feel like they've got everything they want. So they've been fighting this for about 3 years. Apparently, in opposition to their desires, the Washington County folks have granted exceptions to the zoning guidelines, which allow the Dollar General to be installed. People there are arguing and says there's a Dollar General in Blue Ridge Summit that's not more than 1.3 miles away. So it's not like there's a big demand for this in the local area. Anyway, we'll see how that turns out. In Quincy Township, pretty routine meeting. Only a couple things interesting by exception. They don't have Penn State Mont Alto on their agenda, nor was there any discussion of water, which was a little peculiar because Quincy Township completely surrounds Mont Alto. Mont Alto says they've got a water problem. They're talking to Guilford Township, but apparently for some reason, and it's probably a pragmatic reason, there was no discussion about talking to Quincy Township about getting additional water. Let's see. A local advisory for everybody. Severe weather sometimes leads to gas breaks. So those of you who have got gas in your neighborhood or in your house, Columbia Gas has provided guidelines in Local News 1 about how to prepare yourself for the summer season. Most of it has to do with if you have a power outage, or if there's a gas leak and you smell gas, make sure you turn off your electric power so that you don't have any built-in ignition sources. And they also suggest calling professional people to be able to deal with gas leaks. These are not the kind of things that you want to take care of yourself. In Franklin County, the commissioners are considering a $291,000 grant for emergency shelters, rehousing, and homelessness prevention. There's also $31,000 that they're considering for a federal Women in Need grant. PennDOT has a couple of initiatives that for which they are inviting public comment. First is out near Rolling Road in the vicinity of St. Thomas. The public comment period runs from the 7th of July through the 8th of August. This involves a culvert replacement, which, as usually happens in these cases, will require some detours. And they're looking for the folks, especially in the local area there, to come in and comment about what's the best way of working diversions around that construction. The second thing is out at Buchanan Trail West in the vicinity of Peters Township, which is a little ways away from us, but they're talking about closing Route 16 for about a 12-week period because they have some repairs along the roadway that they need to take care of. So that public comment period runs through the 8th of August. In police news, not very many this week. I think that's probably a good thing. Good news, Hagerstown police have completed a year-long theft and drug trafficking crackdown. It was called Operation Blue Light Special. For those of you who remember Kmart's, they always had blue light specials. Well, this particular operation netted 91 individuals on a variety of charges. There were illegal activities taking place at 12 different locations involving both drugs and stolen goods. Interestingly, some of these locations that they found were actually in residential neighborhoods. So, you know, it pays if it seems like something peculiar is taking place in your neighborhood. There is a limit to how much credit you can give your neighbors for staying out of their business, especially if it appears that perhaps they might be doing something illegal. In addition, in a second item, the state police are working with PennDOT on Operation Yellow Jacket. I didn't know this, but they are responding to 1,250 accidents in construction areas where they're slowing down the traffic and they have the flag people on both ends. So that there were 22 fatalities last year, 62 injuries. There are troopers present, but before you do anything that's liable to get a trooper involved in your day-to-day business, just a suggestion, you might think about what you're doing. Those folks are out there to take care of the roads that you would otherwise complain about if these folks didn't get out there with the money that you provided them with your taxes to be out there correcting problems with the roads in the immediate vicinity. So might slow down when you see them. It's not their fault if you're late. Okay, so cut them some slack. They're trying to do the Lord's work out there. Give them some help. In People News, the Franklin County Commissioners hired Maria A. Jackson as the Opioid Education and Prevention Coordinator for Franklin County and work with all the schools. She's a recent Wilson College grad, and she is funded with a $186,000 grant for 2 to 3 years, which we reported on last week. So they move very swiftly on that. That's an important job, making sure that opioids don't spread, especially among school-age children who may or may not have the breadth of experience to know better than to use that stuff. At Letterkenny Army Depot, there was a change of command. Colonel Caleb Lewis has come in and replaced Colonel Donald Santillo in a ceremony that was conducted on the 10th of July. The depot was established in 1942 and continues to be an extremely important part of the logistical chain for the U.S. Army and a variety of other weapon systems that are made available to all the services. In the Franklin County Career Tech Center, students took top honors at a Skills USA National Championship recently. They took gold, silver, and bronze awards in graphic communications and in landscaping and horticulture. So congratulations to all of you. Excellent work. In Hagerstown, the Emeritus Emergency Department was awarded the Maryland Stars for Life Award on the 8th of July. for their exceptional expertise with the emergency medical system. The way to think about this is these guys were outstanding team players. It's one thing to simply be another stop on the path to getting into a hospital, but to the extent that folks like this actually reach out and are working with the crews that are bringing people into the hospital so that they are better prepared when people actually arrive so they can treat them and get them up to whatever treatment they need. This is the kind of thing that these folks do, and that's why they got the award. So congratulations to all of you. Also in Hagerstown, the Mercersburg Academy's, in Hagerstown and Mercersburg Academy's Javian Sandridge finally got his shot in the majors. If you recall, we talked about him last week being called up 2 times to the Yankees without ever getting on the field to throw any, to throw any pitches. Well, he was called up by the Yankees a 3rd time and pitched. And he got a welcome to the majors by the New York Mets, who beat the daylights out of the Yankees 12-6. But nonetheless, that's time on a major league diamond pitching against major league caliber people. So congratulations, and hopefully the Yankees will see something in what you did, and they'll call you up for longer terms in the future. Under health, the U.S. Department of Agriculture recently released its 2025 and 26 school meals eligibility requirements for free and reduced price meals and milk. The income levels that will enable you to be eligible for those programs are published in Local News 1. In Waynesboro, Renfrew Museum is hosting morning yoga classes between 9 and 10 o'clock in the morning on numerous dates throughout the summer. The schedule is offered in conjunction with the Waynesboro Health and Fitness Center. So check out localnews1.org to see when those yoga sessions are available. In addition, the Waynesboro Church of the Apostles set up summer concerts at the Wayne Heights Pavilion. There are 3 programs beginning on the 27th of July. They run from 6 p.m. to about 10 p.m. They're open to the public. On the 27th of July, they have Mountain Air. On the 10th of August, they have Scott Day and his band. And on the 24th of August, Jeremy Goodling is coming in. So those should be very nice. In Boonesboro, upping the ante for shows in parks. In Schaefer Park, they will be hosting free concerts from the 12th of July through the 28th of September. 15 of them in all, actually. You can see local news for the entire schedule. And I have to add this one, there's a great local history story about Gettysburg and its impact on Franklin County. It took years you have to think about this properly. There were literally millions of people fighting with one another for an extended period of time in the Civil War. It took years to heal. So this is a story that talks about not only how Franklin County was impacted, and of course that stretches down into Washington County as well, because that same retreat headed in that direction. But it also explains why there are so many Civil War statues around. That was part of the healing process. Even 50 years after the event, when members of both armies got together, they needed to shake hands and put it behind them. And that's exactly what they did. So we have local history every Tuesday. We have the writings of Dargan Boy on Thursdays. We cover a lot of little leagues, youth football, soccer, gymnastics, auto racing, a lot of other sports, health and pet activities. What we would suggest is check us out. For $4.99, you can get all the full stories on these and a whole bunch of other stories that we aren't able to cover here in just a short period of time. We're very proud to be the news source for standing radio stations. And you can see all the news at localnews1.org. And we will conclude with the thought of the day. A fellow walks into a bar with jumper cables over his shoulders. The bartender says, "Don't start anything." And that's it for this week. Have a great weekend. See you next week.
If If you'd like to be featured on an upcoming episode of Let's Talk Tri-State, call 717-597-9200 or email letstalk@921thegoat.com.